Good evening. I'm Dan Hill at the Glen Ferris Inn, and welcome to Dining with Dan and Becky. And tonight, as our guest, is Chelsea Ruby with the West Virginia Division of Tourism, and General Gilliam. I want to make sure that he's not a private anymore. He's been promoted.
No, you promoted me, Dan, and I appreciate that.
And welcome to the Glen Ferris Inn, and hopefully Becky has made us a good meal tonight. So let's go back in the kitchen and see what she's cooking.
Hello, welcome back to Dining with Dan and Becky at the Glen Ferris Inn, and as always, welcome to our lovely kitchen at the inn. Tonight, Dan is going to be having a small dinner, of course, and the menu, he has no clue what I'm going to be fixing, but we're going to do a Caesar salad, chicken tetrazzini with broccoli, and for dessert, we're going to do strawberry tiramisu with chocolate. Now, isn't that pretty cool? Okay, let's go ahead and start working on the tiramisu. Now, as always, a real tiramisu is complicated. You have to make your special custard. You've got your liqueur, you've got your coffee, you've got your lady fingers, and then your chocolate. So we have adapted that to making a trifle out of a similar recipe. So let's go ahead and get our ingredients over here so we can get them started. And we are going to have 2 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese at room temperature. And we are going to mix this until it's soft. So let's get that done. Now, cream cheeses is one of the more versatile cheese products that I have ever used, and I have looked up recipes for it, and I have found recipes for pot cheese. I have found recipes for cheeses that you make in a cast iron skillet. I have found a mascarpone cheese substitute, but as of yet, I have never found a cream cheese that I'm happy with. So, we have that fairly well mixed up. So now, at this point, we need to make our pudding mixture. What we're going to do is take your pudding, your cream cheese, and combine them, and then we're going to combine them with a whipped topping. Then after we have done that, we are going to go ahead and do not the lady fingers, but we're going to use a substitute, the coffee, and then we are going to use strawberries, otherwise we wouldn't have a strawberry tiramisu, and then we're going to do chocolate. So, here we go. You are going to have 2 small boxes of vanilla instant pudding. And if you are feeling dangerous, feel free to use chocolate or butterscotch or your favorite pudding. I just like to stick with vanilla because you can dress it up so much. So that's 2 packages. Then we are going to combine that with 2.5 cups of 2% milk. Now, if you are cutting calories, you can use the low-fat cream cheese, you can use the no sugar added pudding, and you can use the skimmed milk. And you'll have a very similar product without all of these calories. All right, let's get this mixed up. All right, we're going to let that set just for a few minutes to finish setting up, and then we are going to combine it with the cream cheese. And Jeff, I'm going to need the 2 containers of Cool Whip out of the refrigerator in the bakery. All right, let's see how it's doing fine. Okay. Now we are going to combine these. This is very similar to our recipes for several specialty desserts that we use here at the inn. The eclair cake has one similar to this. The Oreo cake has one similar to this. So let's get this mixed up. Thank you. Oh, Jeff, let me have my spoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, our next step in this process is to fold in our whipped topping. Now, the original recipes call for Cool Whip. You can use practically anything from the Cool Whip to our heavy whipping cream. And what I am going to do is mix the first part by hand. Sorry, by mixer. And then I'm going to do the last part by hand so that we do not deflate all the whipping in our whipped topping. And the more you beat it with the mixer, the more the air is beat out and the flatter your whipped topping goes. We found this when we were making quite a few desserts, and if you just put half of your topping in and mix it, and then add the rest of it and fold it in by hand, you do not destroy the integrity of your topping. Now Jeff is going to help me with these, and I'm going to show him how to do one, then I'm going to go on to the next step. All right, now we have an individual trifle dish. In place of lady fingers, we're going to be using miniature vanilla wafers. Now there are all sorts of things that you can use for this. First of all, if you have enough time, you can order lady fingers from Amazon or go to a very large grocery store and get them. Amazon also has a mold where you can bake your own. You can take sponge cake or pound cake, cut it into strips, lay it on a pan, and toast it in your oven at a low temperature till it dries out completely. There are a lot of options for it. It's very hard to find lady fingers in this area. Then we have got coffee. Strawberries and chocolate. So this is what we're going to do. I'm sorry. All right. Since I'm going to be working with things that are not going to be cooked, but they're not serious enough, such as chicken, to worry about possible contamination with salmonella or worse, I'm just going to glove up in our little cheap gloves. All right, now, this is what you do. We have got 1, 2, 3 layers. So what we are going to take our vanilla wafers and dip them in the coffee. Then we are going to put them in the bottom of the trifle dish. And maybe I should have bought larger vanilla wafers, I don't know. Oops, that one turned around wrong. Okay. Now, we're going to add some of our pudding. Then a layer of strawberries. Then we're going to repeat the layers. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put them all in here and douse them. All right. Our vanilla wafers. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Okay, there we are. All right, then another layer of pudding. Another layer of strawberries. All right, then we are going to finish it off with a layer of pudding, and it's going to be a very small layer. Then we're going to take a grater and grate some semi-sweet chocolate on it. This is just Baker's baking chocolate. It does not have to have very much, just a little bit. Now, in times past, we have used chocolate chips ground up, and we have used cocoa in a little bit of a sieve. And we have our garnish on top. Now, isn't that just a beautiful little dessert that did not take much time at all? Okay. All right, I'm going to hand these over to Jeff, and he's going to be working on them while we start our salad. Welcome back. Let's get started preparing our Caesar salad. Now, you have to remember, this is a salad that's so good. It wasn't named after princesses. It wasn't named after presidents or kings. It was named after emperors. So we're starting out with romaine lettuce. It has been torn into bite-sized pieces because no one wants to get a salad and have to cut it up. And we're going to make our dressing. Basically, that is the salad. Your dressing is going to consist of 2 cups of olive oil, 6 cloves of garlic that has been cleaned, mashed a little bit, and cut in half, and allowed to sit in the garlic, in the oil, to give it the flavor. So now what we have done was made garlic oil. Now, if you prefer this and you like it, I think that a better way of doing it, instead of letting it sit overnight, would be to put it in a shaker jar and set it in your windowsill where the sun can hit it. I have made all sorts of little things from almond oil sitting in a window. All right, so now we've got our 2 cups of olive oil, 4 tablespoons of the red wine vinegar, and we're going to add that to the olive oil. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and pepper. Now we're going to mix this really well. And basically, that is the dressing for your Caesar salad. Okay, now I am going to drizzle this over the romaine. Now, according to the recipe, you only had to have 1.5 quarts of the romaine, and I did 2 quarts. But I doubled the amount of olive oil and everything else. So what I'm going to do is drizzle this and toss it until everything is coated, because you will not have to use all of this dressing. And there we are. When you see everything being shiny, you know you have enough of your dressing on it and you can quit. Now, the last thing we're going to do is toss in our bacon bits, and this is 6 slices of bacon that were browned and then cooled and then shredded, cut into chunks. And then lastly, we're going to add a cup, let me check. Yes, a cup of garlic croutons. We will toss it. Boy, that smells good, and I don't even like garlic. That's strange for someone of Italian descent, isn't it? And here we are, guys. 1 Caesar salad, easy to mix, easy to prep for, and easy to eat. Tastes so good, it was named for emperors. So let me clean up my mess, and then we are going to start the difficult part. Okay, welcome back. The last dish we're going to be preparing tonight is what my mama would call a humdinger. This is a 1-dish dinner. If you think of Italian food, you think of spaghetti and meatballs and a salad and bread. You think of lasagna and a salad and bread. But after this, you're going to be thinking, when you hear Italian 1-dish meal, chicken tetrazzini, salad and bread. Now your chicken tetrazzini, we have got about 6 pounds of chicken that we have cut into chunks and is marinating in a creamy Italian dressing. We have 2 kinds of cheeses, Parmesan and mozzarella, garlic, onions, peppers, our broccoli, our pasta, baby bella mushrooms that have been chopped really coarsely, butter, and heavy cream. Now, with your chicken tetrazzini, the first thing that you want to do is to make your Alfredo sauce. This is just a traditional Alfredo sauce with absolutely nothing special about it. So we're going to use a stick of butter, which is 1/2 cup. Okay. Now, over the weekend, Andrea came up with her girls, and we made the deep dish peach cobbler, which was very good. But I was busy doing all sorts of things because it was our Christmas and summer dinner, and we had stuffed roasted chicken and dressing and mashed potatoes and corn pudding, our 24-layer salad that we did last week, and then we had, what did we have after that? Home canned green beans. So it was quite a feast. And when I put my butter in the oven for it to melt in the pan, it turned a little brown on me because I was so busy doing things. And I thought, oh no, I'm gonna dump it out because it was half a pound of butter. And then I thought, no, Andrea won't care if it tastes funny. And it gave it such a good flavor that I will be tempted to never throw away butter again that I have overbrowned. So that is almost ready. Now we are going to add our onions and our peppers first. And you add your garlic after your onions have started turning translucent because the garlic is really easy to burn. So that butter is almost melted. Let's give it another minute. And we are going to go ahead and add 1 large onion. Thank you. 1 medium-sized pepper, all chopped very small. And we are going to saute these until the onions start turning translucent. And in that point, and only that point, you put in your garlic. Your garlic burns easily, and you do not want to do that. So, here we go. I think I can turn up the fire a little bit on this. Now, those are famous last words, guys. All right, now I'm going to add my garlic, and do not let your garlic brown. It just isn't as good. You want it to heat up. You want that aroma of the garlic to spread through the butter, the onions, and the peppers, but you do not want it to cook. All right, now look at this. This is just about perfect. Notice the texture of your butter, how it has changed. All of the liquids that are in it have been evaporated. Your onions are translucent. Your peppers are soft enough now that we know that when we cook this, we'll be just fine. Now, for your Alfredo sauce, I am going to add 2 quarts, that's half a gallon of heavy cream. Now, this is not anything to laugh about, calorie speaking, but I'll tell you guys, if you want a good sauce, you will not use evaporated milk or 2% milk. You will not use half and half. There is not much difference between the price of half and half and heavy cream. And if you're counting calories, there's not much difference there. Now, we are going to let this simmer. And when it starts boiling, I guess boiling is a bad word. When it starts scalding, we will add our Parmesan cheese, stir it thoroughly, and then we are going to be finished with our Alfredo. Now, if you're making chicken tetrazzini, you're going to start out with a bed of spaghetti pasta. Then you're going to cover that with a bed of broccoli. Then you're going to cover that with your chicken. Then at the end, we smother it with Alfredo sauce. And then on top of that, we put a mixture of Parmesan cheese and mozzarella on top to put it in the oven. Let it cook long enough for those cheeses to melt and run all over the place. And you will not find anything better ever, I promise you. All right, so it's beginning to simmer, but it's not quite at the point where it's scalding. So, okay, this takes a while, guys. I'm going to let Jeff, after I put the cheese in it, take it over to the other stove and finish simmering it so while I start the chicken. But it needs to be a little bit hotter. When you buy your heavy cream, pay attention to the expiration date. I won't buy it if it's within a week of expiring. Make sure you shake it thoroughly because it separates and the butter fats go to the top and your liquids go to the bottom. And so you really have to shake it well to get those evenly distributed. Okay, I'm going to add 1 cup of shredded Parmesan. I have been having trouble, as I've told you before, with my Parmesan cheese melting. If you look at the package when it says ingredients, it will say Parmesan cheese, cellulose, and a few other things. That cellulose is whatever it is, it's a spongy type material that they shred and mix in with it to keep it from sticking together. Well, unfortunately, the cellulose will not melt. So, all right, this is doing really good. I'm going to pass this to Jeff. He's going to finish cooking it for me, and that's all he's going to do. Just finish cooking it till the cheese completely melts and it thickens up some. And then the next thing we are going to do is the chicken. So give me 1 minute to get that set up, and I will be right back. All right, I brought my stovetop grill from the house for us to do the chicken on. And you're going to spray it lightly with a good vegetable or olive oil spray. Let me put this up. And we're going to give it a minute to heat up. And then I am going to take my chicken and we're going to cook it. And let's see if it's hot enough. Yep, so let's get this out on the stove. I hope Dan's guests like Italian food, otherwise, oops. Uh-oh, being messy. Now this is your standard Italian dressing that I marinated it in, and I marinated it for at least 4 hours. Overnight won't hurt. I would not marinate it for more than overnight though. Okay, so there we are. Let me get something to clean up my mess and we'll finish cooking this. All right, let us go ahead and get these turned. Now all you're going to do really, since these are cut into chunks instead of whole pieces, is that we're going to stir fry it, so to speak. Now towards the end of this, if I think they may not be finished cooking, I may cover it with foil so that it will trap the residual heat and let it simmer that way for 4 or 5 minutes. Now, there are advantages of doing it this way. First of all, you don't have to spend time with a knife cutting a large piece of chicken into bite-sized chunks because it's already cut into pieces. You may have to cut it in half if it's very large. Second advantage is that it cooks faster than an entire chicken breast. Third advantage is that your marinade is going to cover completely every side, and if you've got a cube, you've got 6 sides there. And then lastly, as we've said over and over, if you are having a physical change, the more surface area you have exposed, the faster that exchange is going to occur. Therefore, this is going to work by cooking it faster. So if you are in a hurry and you are doing southern fried chicken for your family, cut it into these little nuggets, then dip it into your liquid if you're using one, then your seasoned flour, and then fry it. And it will not take a fourth along as what it would for the entire chicken breast. Whoops, don't want to burn it. Dan will tease me to death. You guys know how he is by now. So I'm going to turn this one down a little bit. Last time I did that, I turned it off, so watch your fire. Let me double check. Still going. Okay, we're going to leave this for just a few minutes while we get everything ready for our pasta and get everything ready for our broccoli. And guys, we are almost finished with a specialty dinner. Okay, I will be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get that broccoli done. I cooked the spaghetti this morning. Well, Jeff and I cooked it this morning. Remember, your proportion of pepper is 1/2 of the salt. I put in 1 pinch of pepper. I put in 2 pinches of salt. And all we have to do now is heat it up and make our plates. So let's see what we've got. This is fresh broccoli cut from the stems and parboiled for 5 minutes. You want that so you do not have to spend forever cooking your broccoli. You have seasoned your butter, which means that your broccoli is going to be seasoned as you toss it. Right, let's turn it down a little bit. So here we go. This does not have to be seasoned much, and it doesn't have to have much butter on it, because when we make our entree, you're going to have a bed of spaghetti, then your bed of broccoli, then your bed of chicken, and then you're going to coat it all with Alfredo sauce, and then you're going to smother it in your cheeses and bake it off. So my mouth just waters thinking about it. Now that recipe is like a Glen Ferris Inn original. I have never seen it anywhere. Well, I'll tell you why I did it this way. Our Cajun chicken pasta, everyone loves. You have your pasta, you have your chicken, and then you have your Alfredo sauce, and then you have your spices on top. So I just sort of adapted that to this, and then to the recipe that I've used for the last few years. And when I fixed a trial run of it up at my house 2 Sundays ago when Andrea and the girls came up for dinner, they really liked it. So We're going to let this cook just a little bit longer. We are going to heat up the spaghetti in the microwave. Is this drained, Jeff? Yeah. Now, the spaghetti that we have is a number 9 spaghetti. It is the thinnest there is, and still is called spaghetti. There's angel hair, and there's a number 10 somewhere that's between the angel hair and the number 9. But I really prefer the number 9. Now, we cooked it this morning, washed it thoroughly, drained it, cooled it to room temperature, and then we refrigerated it, and I just pulled it out. Now, basically, whenever you are cooking something that you're going to store in the refrigerator and reheat, you have 2 hours to get it down to room temperature, and then after that, you've got 3 hours to get it down. Say you're going to freeze it to your freezing temperature or your temperature in the refrigerator, and that is to prevent foodborne illnesses from bacteria growth. So you've got 2 hours to heat it from boiling to 70 or 72. And then you've got 3 hours to take it from 72 to below, I would say probably 41 is what we keep our refrigerators on. And then you can freeze it after that. I do not put anything hot in my refrigerator for several reasons. One, it wastes electricity because it increases the temperature of the air, and 2, it'll heat up anything I have stored around it, compromising its integrity. Okay, I think our broccoli is done. All we needed to do was put a little bit of flavor in it and heat it up. So I'm going to move this. So, here we go, guys. Okay, the last thing we have to do is to saute our baby bellas. These are portobello mushrooms. And then we will mix these in with the chicken layer, and we will be set to go. We'll be ready to build our plate. Now, these have been diced or cut into good-sized chunks. Dan likes mushrooms. I don't particularly care for them. It's that fungus thing, I'm afraid. It just turns me off. All right, let's shake this. When you do that, everything on top finds a little nick, and they all are touching the source of your heat. Now, all you want to do is cook these enough to where they change color. You do not want to cook them to where they're all the way done. Now, while this is cooking, let's go ahead and get one dish put together. And then Jeff said he would finish them for me, and we will go visit Dan and meet his guests. So, here we are. All right, welcome back. All right, guys, we have finished our spaghetti. We've made our cheese combination. We have done our broccoli. We have done the chicken. We have done the Alfredo sauce, and now we have done the mushrooms. These are baby portobellos. Now, fixing chicken tetrazzini is not for the faint of heart. Organization and having someone to help you and doing what you can the day before in regards to prepping is the secret of making this a less painful dish. So, here we are. We've got a standard dinner plate. You can use a platter. We're going to glove up because we are going to be touching some of these by hand. And I'm going to show Jeff how to do it, and then I'm going to go meet Dan and the guys and see. And we want it to be a generous bed. Maybe not that generous. Okay. All right, now, we are then going to put our broccoli on top. After that, we are going to put our chicken. Then we are going to follow it with our mushrooms. Then we are going to drown it in Alfredo. Now you want this all over your pasta? You guys should smell this. Over your chicken. Now when I estimated how much we would need, I figured a cup per serving. And then lastly, we are going to cover the top of it with our cheese combination. Now remember, this is 50% Parmesan, 50% mozzarella. And this is going to go in the oven and melt it. And I guess Jeff and I could put together another one while we're waiting for that to melt. And then he's going to finish these for me. Right. Step one, your bed of pasta. Now, isn't that nice looking spaghetti? And you do not want to have so much on it that it never ends. There, that's a goodly amount. All right, step two will be your broccoli. Step three is your meat. Step four, your mushrooms. Step five is your Alfredo. And I thought lasagna was time consuming. And six, your cheese mixture. Okay, and there we are. Okay, Jeff is going to finish these for me. I'm going to run out in the dining room and visit with Dan and meet his guests. So I will see you out there. Thank you for watching the cooking part of our show today.
Well, Becky, what have you made for us this evening?
Well, I did a one-dish meal this evening.
A one dish, okay.
A one-dish meal.
So you threw it all into one pot? And...
That is it. Well, sort of.
Okay.
All right, we're doing a Caesar salad. Do you know what is so cool about a Caesar salad?
I don't know, but I'm about to find out.
It wasn't named after a prince or a king. It was named after an emperor because it was so superb.
Okay, so that's what we're having tonight.
Right, we are having the food of emperors.
Okay, well that's great.
At least the salad of emperors.
All right, what else we having?
I've been fiddling around with my recipe for chicken tetrazzini, and I think I've got it perfect. This is about 15 times I've changed my recipe, but I think I've got it down this time.
Okay, well, hopefully it'll be a good meal. Is that it? Is that?
No, I broke down. I was going to fix a German chocolate roll, and I thought I can't do a German chocolate roll with an Italian dinner.
Well, that's probably true.
I mean, that doesn't even make sense, does it?
I would have eaten it.
You would have eaten it? Well, you need to come up one time and I'll fix you a German chocolate roll.
I think that's German, not like German chocolate.
What I'm going to do is fix my German chocolate brownie, and then I'm going to put that coconut pecan frosting on it that everyone loves, and I'm going to roll it up like a pumpkin roll when it's hot, and then cool it, and then put the frosting on it and see what happens.
But that's not what we're having tonight.
I know, but that's what my brain said.
But now I know what to look forward to. I got to come back.
That's right.
Right.
Tonight we're going to be doing a chocolate, strawberry, tiramisu, trifle.
Chocolate and strawberries. Okay, that sounds
wonderful.
Interesting.
Well, I don't know. Well, it's not much chocolate. It's just shavings on the top to
Oh,
make
okay.
it pretty,
All right.
like a garnish.
Okay.
It wasn't like last week where you had the chocolate mousse.
Well, you and Chelsea and everybody here is starting to get hungry. So,
Oh, yeah.
so let's have our salad.
All right. I'll be right back. Let me go tell them we're ready.
He will eat an entire carton of blueberries.
Okay, here comes your salad, Becky.
Thank you.
Eat his vegetables.
He will
All
not
right.
eat vegetables. He will not touch a vegetable. Well, he will eat as much fruit as you put in front of him.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
let's try our salad here and see how it goes.
It should go well,
Okay.
maybe.
What all's in it, Becky?
Romaine lettuce. And then the salad dressing has got 2 cups of olive oil and 8 things of garlic that I mashed and cut in half and let soak for about 8 hours. And then I took the garlic out and I put Worcestershire sauce, lemon juice, and red wine vinegar. A good smattering of pepper. I stirred it up real well, whipped it, and then you mixed it in with this, and you added your bacon and your croutons.
Oh, it's very tasty.
Julius thought it was great.
Little different taste. Harrison, is it any good for you?
It's good, very good.
It's different. You should have been here last time, Harrison, when we did our 24-hour salad. That was incredible.
What's a 24-hour salad?
Takes you 24 hours to make it.
No, not quite. Have you ever had a 7-layer salad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's like that, but it's got a layer of eggs and a layer of carrots with it too.
Wow.
It's got about 10 layers of different vegetables. And it was just marvelous.
And then you let it set for 24 hours, is that?
It's supposed to be from 2 to 24 hours. Mine got to sit 2.
Well, it's supposed to chill out and the things blend together.
Right.
So this is a little different. I don't know that I like it.
Oh, you can sleep on the couch tonight.
Okay.
I like it. I'm thinking if I put bacon in my salads, my 3-year-old might eat them.
Mm-hmm.
Bacon makes everything taste a little better.
It does.
I can't get him to touch a salad, but this might be the trick.
Well, Chelsea, tell us about your family and where y'all are from and all
Yeah.
that.
So I'm originally from Norman, Oklahoma. I was born and raised there, and after school, I moved to Washington, D.C., where I met my husband, who's from Lincoln County. He was born and raised in Lincoln County. All of his family lives there. He moved back to West Virginia for a job, and I moved back, and we got married. So we've been here about 8 years. So this is home.
Okay,
So
that's
I'm a
great.
West Virginian by choice. I love it.
Okay.
Absolutely love it. So Steve, my husband, and I, we live in Charleston, and we've got a 3-year-old little boy, Robert.
Well, that's great. What do you think of the view here at Glen Ferris Inn?
It's phenomenal. This is an absolutely breathtaking view.
Today, the river is really mild, and it's like a mirror that's reflecting the mountains onto the river. And when the trees are starting to turn now, they're just starting. And in a couple of weeks, there'll be a lot of different colors, and it's really a very beautiful little community here, Glen Ferris. And I've lived here all my life, but when I was younger, we would fish and play in the river and run the hillsides and all that kind of stuff. But it's a really nice little community, very good people that live here. And this Upper Kanawha Valley is very clean, and we're very proud
The
of the
water
area.
is excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. I mean, I've driven through here a lot of times, Regrettably, I'd never stopped by before today, but this is a phenomenal view. I can't think of another place right here on this river where you can eat, have a great meal, and just look out over the water.
Now you need to bring your 3-year-old up, and you want to go out on the little walkway, save your rolls, and let him feed the fish and the ducks. Geese, what are they, Danny?
The geese, yeah.
He would love that.
Yeah, the fish here are this big.
They get big.
There's big fish out there.
They will come up and turn the ducks or the geese over, trying to get the bread before the
Really?
geese get it.
I've never seen that.
Saw it once.
Okay.
It's true.
Well, Becky, what's coming up next since you got a mouthful of food?
I would say our tetrazzini,
What?
the chicken tetrazzini.
Tetrazzini. Okay. So that's Italian, huh? So we're having Italian tonight.
We are.
Okay. Well, let's have it. We're starving to death here.
Let me go look this up.
So they ate out on the deck, and but Becky needed a larger area, so we enclosed that as well.
We had a
Give us-
wedding here.
I was just about to say, this is a perfect place.
280 people.
Wow.
And-
How many weddings do you do a year?
Oh, I will not do more than 20 large parties or weddings. I cut it off. And the reason for that is there's only 52 weekends, right?
Right.
At least 10 holidays. So that brings it down to 42. You take out 20 weddings, that brings it down to 22.
Right.
And we would do a feast a month where we had a theme and recipes from a foreign country or a particular area, like our Cajun feast or Mexitex feast or our Asian feast. So take that away, that leaves 10. And everyone deserves a simple weekend 10 times out of the year.
Right.
Okay. But she has about 20 weddings to get that all set. That's a lot of weddings.
That's a lot of
You've done
weddings.
And that's a
over
lot of work.
600 weddings.
Yeah, we've done over 600.
Yeah.
What's the
Lots
worst
of-
thing that's ever happened at a wedding?
Oh, gosh.
I've only had one complaint, and they had dropped me a postcard in the mail at the beginning of the week requesting a cash bar. All right, I went and got the mail. I got it about Wednesday or Thursday, but I was busy doing things. I didn't even go through it. I just put it up, handle it later, and I didn't get the card. So,
Brides can be difficult.
well, that happens.
Well, Becky, tell us what all's in this.
Well, you've got a bed of spaghetti, and I do thin spaghetti. It's not angel hair. It's 1 or 2 levels more thick. And then on top of that, we've got broccoli. On top of that, we've got a marinated chicken breast that's cut up, then a few portobello mushroom chunks, and
Okay.
then all sorts of Alfredo sauce, and then a combination of Italian cheeses on top, and then baked off.
Well, that sounds very good. Let's see what it tastes like.
I don't know.
It's good, Becky.
It's delicious.
Hey, thank you guys.
Delicious.
The chicken is very tender. Now, the one you made at the house had a whole chicken on it, or
Right.
a whole breast.
It did. It had a whole breast on it. And when I put the cheese on it and melted it, I just didn't, first of all, I didn't like how it looked. And then, too, by the end of your meal, the cheese had cooled down enough to where it was hard. And it just wasn't as appetizing.
I see. So
I
you cut
it
these in
up,
chunks. I
and
see.
then each chunk has got 6 sides, right?
Yeah.
Top, bottom, 4 edges. And when I marinated it, that meant that more of the marinade could soak into it.
I see.
And it would be a more flavorful dish than it just laying on the top of that entire breast and the bottom.
Well, I like the Alfredo sauce on it too as well.
It's good.
Well, if you remember last time, I did a garlic butter sauce. And I just didn't care for it.
Well, this is very good.
So how many times have you gotten to test this recipe? I think I might want to move in with you guys if
It's
you
been
get to
about
test
5
this
or
multiple
6.
times.
Dan keeps
Now you
saying,
gotta slow down because Becky's cooking and then living with Dan, you gotta draw the line somewhere.
Right.
Dan says, don't you plan on cooking something down there if you haven't cooked it before? You make sure you know what you're doing and how it tastes and what to expect.
No, I think that might just be a ploy for him to get to try those 5 or 6 times.
That's true. Can't eat anymore. What are we having for dessert?
A strawberry tiramisu trifle.
A trifle. A trifle, a trifle. How does that rhyme go?
A tisket, a tasket.
A tisket, a tasket, that's right. A brown and yellow basket.
I guess I never learned the second line.
Okay. Well, let's have our dessert. I mean dessert. I don't know why I said salad.
All right.
Okay.
That is your strawberry tiramisu trifle.
Trifle. Okay.
And it's a trifle, one, because it's in a trifle glass.
Okay.
And 2, you have a layer of cake-like stuff, and then pudding or ice cream or whipped cream, then fruit, and then it's repeated. That's what all trifles are.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
Well,
I will
let's
watch you.
try it.
See,
This looks like. Is that a?
sorta, but it's slightly different.
I didn't even say what it was.
You know,
You
you're
said
thinking
sort of.
about the eclair
Oh,
cake.
you're reading
and
my
the,
mind now,
yes,
huh?
I am, Dan. You are transparent. You're saying, what has she done that's like this?
Well, it's very good.
That's very good.
Well, thank
It's
you.
it's like a whipped cream with something else in it.
Well, a traditional tiramisu is custard's made with a mascarpone cream, and you have to cook it a long time on the stove in a double broiler and stir it continually.
So this was cooked?
No.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You
so,
confused me. You got me going in the
well,
wrong
I said
direction.
a traditional, and
Okay.
it's also made with lady fingers, which you can't buy lady fingers in Golly Bridge, Montgomery, anywhere in here.
Okay.
And so I used vanilla wafers because that's what Frank uses when he can't get lady fingers
Oh, I
to do
see.
our tiramisus. So you have your real cooked custard that takes about an hour to cook, and your lady fingers, which are soaked in chocolate, and then most real tiramisus either have rum or cognac or
So do we have rum and cognac? Because I didn't want Gilliam to get started here, you know.
Yeah, I might have to have 2 or 3 if we got a little cognac in there, Becky.
That's
Okay.
true. And then it just goes from there to, it has no fruit, but it's coffee and cognac, and then your mascarpone custard.
So
and your
did you
lady
make
fingers.
this a while ago in the
Yeah.
kitchen? Well, goodness gracious, you must have. How did it get so cold so fast?
Well, we did it first and put it in the refrigerator.
Oh, I see. Well, it's very good.
It's excellent.
Glen Ferris Inn and us and my guest here, and we appreciate it and your hard work that you do in there. And I know when I watch the series, you know, I don't know, you know, a lot of people think that we've watched her do all of this, but we haven't. We got here way after you've completed the show in there, and I know when I watch the show, you've worked very hard, and we appreciate that. And
You're welcome.
you've not failed me yet, so hopefully I get to keep you a couple more weeks.
Well,
And,
let me tell you something.
What?
Annie, our
Our granddaughter.
8-year-old granddaughter, goes around the house and says, well, Becky, you haven't failed me yet.
Okay. All right. Well, Chelsea, you and Gilliam, I appreciate you all coming out tonight, and hope you had a good meal, and hope you've enjoyed your stay here at the inn, and we hope you get to come back. And Becky loves to cook, and she loves to have guests and take care of the people, and we appreciate your hard work that you're doing for the state and helping the tourists in West Virginia. And I know you all have a limited budget down there, and that it's very difficult today but I think that in the future, hopefully the state will wise up and start funding better the tourism packages that goes around the state, and we appreciate you and your hard work.
Well, thank you. I want to say thanks for having me tonight, and thanks for what you guys do every day. I mean, the tourism industry in West Virginia is strong because of the people who are running it. So it's folks like you who make people want to come back to the state.
Well, thanks for watching the Dining with Dan and Becky at the Glen Ferris Inn. And tonight we're proud to have our guest, Chelsea Ruby and General Gilliam. And we appreciate you all watching, and we'll see you later. Thank you.